Would you be open to eating cereal for dinner as a way to cut down on costs? Strange that in this economy, the one in which Biden keeps promising us is rock solid, full of higher wages, he says, historically low unemployment, and defeated inflation, that the Kellogg CEO felt the need to make such an outrageous offer to consumers in the first place. It's almost as if Kellogg CEO Gary Pilnick can see in his own Consumer Reports what Biden refuses to acknowledge nationally, that Americans are indeed hurting. Though, of course, it doesn't make Pilnick's ham-fisted attempt at reaching out to those consumers any less tone-deaf or cringe. Watch.
I'm all for innovation and marketing, but the idea of having cereal for dinner, is there the potential for that to land the wrong way?
We don't think so. In fact, it's landing really well right now, Carl. When we look at all of our data, of course, we would know that breakfast cereal is the #1 choice for in-home consumption. We understand that for breakfast. It turns out that over 25% of our consumption is outside the breakfast occasion. A lot of it's at dinner, and that occasion continues to grow, as well as the snacking occasion. But cereal for dinner is something that is probably more on trend now, and we would expect to continue as that consumer is under pressure.
No, Gary, that is not a good thing. When people are forced to eat cereal for dinner because they don't have the time or money to eat something healthier or more filling, that's a bad thing. You know, this kind of reminds me of that insane Wall Street Journal headline from last year, which likewise advised struggling Americans to skip a meal in order to reduce costs. Though the journal suggested skipping breakfast, which probably wouldn't make Gary or Kellogg's all that happy. You know, it's almost like our elites saw the Maduro diet of Venezuela, where people living under socialist rule there lost a bunch of weight because of the crushing poverty his regime has overseen, and that somehow they liked what they saw and decided to try it here too. Oh, and they took all the criminals and imported them here too, along with the starvation diet to save money. Meaning that Venezuela has a new 22-year low in violent death because their criminals fled here to our open border. And now the country's refusing to take back their deported criminals. What a deal. We really are living in the third world at this point, so I guess it's fitting we import the third world too. What I mean by that is that our elites are just divvying up the spoils of this once great nation for themselves and are leaving us to fight with each other in the streets for whatever scraps are left behind, in the same way that Venezuela or some of these other countries operate. Obviously, if you go back to the American elites of a century ago, they did have their own skeletons in the closet. No one's perfect, but at least there was the concept of noblesse oblige, where the elites had a duty to at least build hospitals, schools, libraries, parks, railways, and other public goods for us plebs. And many of them did want to innovate in order to make money, yes, but also to transform society for the better. That type of visionary elite with an eye toward posterity was unique to America and to its entrepreneurial spirit. Now, all that we have left are elites fighting over grants and government regulations to strangle any newcomers to their monopolies who may dare to force them to innovate. It really is sad. And wokeness works as a vehicle for this because it psyops us into thinking that we are choosing to downscale our lives and to accept declining standards of living in order to save the environment or something, or because they say capitalism has reached its end stage, we need something new, when that's not true at all. The elites are choosing decline because they only care about their short-term gain, and so they're sucking the rest of us dry. So joining us now to discuss those updates is scholar, speaker, and author, Dr. Steve Turley. Dr. Turley, Steve, thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Karen. That was brilliant. That was an excellent analysis of the insanity that's going on in our nation today.
No, I really do appreciate it. You know, it's horrible, right? They're stripping everything from us, but hey, they're saying at least get cereal for dinner. It's going to be so fun, right?
Oh my heavens. They don't see what the backlash is going to be like for that. You know, I think what's happening here is part of a larger phenomenon that scholars like Joel Kotkin over at Chapman University refer to as refeudalization. It's a fancy schmancy term to refer to the ways in which really and I mean, again, you laid it out beautifully, the ways in which the structure of our society is increasingly reflecting the kind of pyramid-like social structure that characterized the feudal Middle Ages.